TAVITOV, really for the first time on an international stage competing, but you don't need to look too far back into his recent results to know what kind of wrestler he is. He won the Ivan Urigin in January of this year, and he's picked up strong finishes at the Russian National Championships as well. So Chermen TAVITOV in the red, Zavur UGUEV in the blue.
UGUEV is most dangerous when he's attacking that right underneath. He usually comes duck to the right side of his opponent. It'll be a left side duck on his body, but to TAVITOV's right side is where he usually makes his money, and then he circles to that far left and gets behind. And we've seen on multiple occasions, and even this morning, once he gets behind with that duck under, he's looking not only for 2, but he's looking for 4 to go big.
It was something that the American Austin DeSanto wasn't able to counter. He went 5-0 down to UGUEV in the semi-final. And of TAVITOV's 3 results to get to this stage, really only the semi-final which stands out, because he beat Zelimkhan Abkarov of Albania, former world champion, at a lower weight class of 57. Beat him 8-5 at this stage.
And this little go behind that UGUEV does, what he's going to have to do is shorten that right elbow. That elbow is tucked too deep, so he would have had to get that forearm just about at shoulder level of TAVITOV if he was going to want to be successful there. But either way, we're back to the center, back in neutral, no score just yet.
Let's see who's had the better of things in the referee's mind. First passivity incoming. So UGUEV on the clock for 30.
And this is where he goes to that high-level shot. This was just, I think TAVITOV wasn't aware that the whistle was going to get started, and UGUEV is just, he's so clever. Why continue to exert energy when you don't have to? You look to your left and you see that orange circle, and you know 3 more steps and you're going to pick up a free point, and that's exactly what the Olympic champion did.
Good shot in from TAVITOV. Follows it down, but UGUEV with the whizzer on.
And it's all, we could talk about that right hand as it stayed active with that whizzer. You talked about it, Jack. He did a great job. And this is where I talk about hiding your ankles, right? Because look at exactly what TAVITOV is trying to do, is find that low-level ankle. And this is going to be 2 for UGUEV, but a possible challenge. Let's wait and see if the coach challenges it. He puts the left hand on the challenge button but doesn't press it. That was close. That's one I think I would have challenged in a high-level match like this, because you have to have the understanding, both being from the UWW, this could have implications for the European Championships. So you want to make sure that you're giving your wrestler every opportunity to be as successful as possible. Down 3-0 is a big hole. We talked about UGUEV likes to build holes, and then in the second period, he has the ability from a defensive standpoint to just put you on your toes and keep you moving forward to him, which is where he wants to be with that counter-offensive style of wrestling. And he talked about winning. At the time, he is a 3-time world champion, but it just hit me. He won 2 world titles in the Olympic gold before last year's European title. Not many wrestlers can say that.
It was missing, wasn't it, from his CV? And he got it done in 2025. And en route, it would seem, towards a ranking series start in Albania to his season of a gold variety. But TAVITOV has shown he's got weapons that can pierce the armor, at least, of UGUEV. And no one wins the Ivan Urigin by luck either, by the way. That is always an impressive scalp to take. It's one that Uguev's won in the past as well, but he's been there many times, and he's not come away with the gold more than he has. That's the type of competition that is.
And they call the Ivan Urigan the toughest wrestling tournament in the world. That is the nickname for it for a reason. You have to travel to central Siberia and the central city of Krasnoyarsk to get there. It's just, the journey there and then the level of competition that you have is next to none. It was actually the first ever ranking series event in 2018.
Some way to start the season. I mean, that's not a nickname, that's a warning.
Yeah.
That kind of tagline.
And now let's pay attention to the right hand of TAVITOV. He has to keep that low because what Uguev is going to want to do is reach back with that left hand and get a whizzer and create some separation with that left hip, and that's exactly what he does right there. Smart wrestling, but also he circles back to his right, which gave him about 2 meters on that edge to not get pushed out. It's just smart, savvy wrestling from the Olympic gold medalist. And again, here you got to come either to the armpit or you just have to go out of bounds. And it's starting to look like Uguev is, the tank is starting to near E.
Yeah, that was seemingly straightforward for TAVITOV to bounce Uguev out of bounds. And what will be the challenge coming in, Eric, from the TAVITOV side here?
Jack, I was just asking myself the same question. The only thing I could see, would it be fleeing the hold as Uguev stepped out of bounds? But it's hard to call a wrestler for fleeing the hold when they're trying to balance on one foot.
Control is not all their own at that point. But maybe an extra point incoming if the judging panel and the video review team agree with TAVITOV.
But I think this would be, in my opinion, somewhat of a questionable challenge because you just saw how tired Uguev was. So you know that this challenge is only going to extend his rest period. And then in addition to that, TAVITOV, are they going to cancel the challenge or keep it? Because he was in on 2 different shots in deep. So the problem is finishing. And he's going to have to pick up at least a takedown and a 1-point exchange to even tie this. But I think you just expose yourself here trying to go down. Let's see what they say.
Challenge, of course, gone as well in case he needs it later on. Sometimes comes back to bite wrestlers. Well, although we can't see these pictures, the wrestlers can. It'll be up on the big screen. They can see what the video review team are looking at.
Position. 1 point for step out, caution 1, and restart in standing position. Challenge 1.
Wow. So it was fleeing the hold.
Great spot, Eric. Yep, that's what that yellow square is about, next to Uguev's name. And now 1 minute 25. 1 point the difference. TAVITOV on the up. But how much of that rest period will have recharged the tanks for Uguev? Maybe enough.
And there goes that duck.
Here. Slips behind, takes the 2. Excellently done, and straight from the off again. He's been really smart at catching Tavitov out.
And that's one that you just kick yourself as a wrestler. You watch unlimited film on Uguev, and I can tell you that Tavitov has been doing it since he's been a young kid. And you see that duck under time in and time out, and it's just, he's so good at it that you can't stop it. And it was the perfectly timed, the execution, the step, the duck, the finish, everything was a master class in a duck under right there by Zavur UGUEV.
You mentioned, Derek, that no one controls those last 30 seconds, the last 15, the last 10 better than UGUEV in this weight category. He knows how to finish on top of the points tally, even if a bout hasn't gone his way.
And how he does it is with these underhooks and these front headlock situations that he's so good. He denies the wrestler any angle when they get to that front headlock situation. He keeps the head in the middle of his chest, and then he goes underhook on the left side, which he gets real deep, so it doesn't allow... He's not looking to shorten his elbows here. He's only looking to wrestle the clock.
Last few seconds remaining. UGUEV holding on with that underhook and shutting down all possible options for Chermen TAVITOV, who's given this a proper challenge to Zavur UGUEV. But UGUEV not exactly last man standing as he comes off his haunches to get back to his feet, but he has done it. 5 points to 2 for the gold medal in Albania for Zavur UGUEV.